Welcome back to the Samurai project. Today the project is removing this bumper. So it's a stock Samurai bumper. There's a little bit of rust on it. It's not terrible. It's got this little bush guard. But the plan is to replace it with this. This is from Shrockworks. It's a custom fabricated bumper. Comes with some brackets, some hardware. No instructions, but hopefully it's not that hard to get put together. So I'm going to put this bumper on. I have a winch to go on as well. That'll go on next. And we'll put it together and I'll tell you guys what I think about it. So let's start with general impressions of the bumper. The fabrication quality looks very good. The welds look nice. It's powder coated in this nice gloss black. I had it ordered with the guards on top. These are the toe points. I have tow bar attachments because I do plan to tow the Samurai, and of course the winch, or winch plate. So the fabrication quality looks very good. There's a couple things I'm not happy with. I'll talk a bit more about some of it later. Part of it right now is that there's no instructions, so it seems to have decent hardware and these brackets. And you know, it's not rocket surgery, but I'm gonna have to figure out where these brackets go. So, you know, it won't be terrible, but if they would have provided instructions, that would have been a lot easier. It saved me a bit of time. The other thing is, on the website they talk about having basically universal lights that fit into here, which I like the idea of, except for they didn't ship it with the lights. So now I have to go out and buy them, which is a waste of my time again. So for whatever reason they didn't ship it with the lights. That's kind of annoying. And instructions would have been nice as well. The quality of everything that's welded together though looks great. So I'm looking forward to getting it put on.
No, that's back too. It's just I can't get this up here. There. Yeah, we need to. Can I practice on that cupboard?
Sure. So just getting these initial bolts put on. There's 4 that go across through here. And I didn't have instructions, so I'm just trying to figure it out as I go. But it seems that there's these steel plate spacers here and then washers in between. And with those, everything seems to line up reasonably well. So I think that's how those bolts go on. If you guys know otherwise, let me know. So I've been scouring the internet trying to find write-ups on the installation of this bumper. One of the few that I found noted that it had sleeves that went over these bolts to reinforce this frame for when it's bolted down. My kit didn't come with that. I'm not sure if Shrockworks isn't providing those sleeves anymore, or if it's just one more thing they neglected to send me. Either way, it would have been nice to have sleeves. I'm not going to bother fabricating anything, I'll just run it as is. I think it'll be strong enough. One of the things Shrockworks advertises or totes as a benefit of this bumper is extra brackets to connect it to the frame. So from what I can gather, this bracket is supposed to tie into the frame here, which seems doable. So it can go there. Now the downside is, and it probably could go on either side, either up or down. On this side of the bracket there's a hole, but it doesn't line up with anything at all. There's some interference with that crossing structure there. So this needs to be modified in order to work. Unless I'm just not lining it up right. And again, you know, if I had instructions, that would have been useful. But anyway, I don't mind modifying it, but it's just one more thing. This is a bracket clearance to fit. So now it'll fit in there. I'll drill the holes in the frame and get this secondary mount fastened up. The bumper is now fully mounted. So I have all the bolts fully torqued down. And it's fully solid. I do have this extra bracket running to the frame, for whatever that's worth. To be honest, I don't think it adds a whole lot. And the reason why is because where it attaches to the bumper here, it just attaches with that one bolt. I think if this were to be completely rigid with the bumper, then maybe it would help with rotation, which apparently is the intention. So when you're pulling with a winch, the bumper doesn't want to rotate. So I think in order to provide that, this would have to be welded or one piece. So I have it bolted right now, it's tight, but at some point, maybe if I care enough, I'll run a bead of weld along there. Otherwise though, it's fully mounted, it's strong. You can see here where the frame is starting to crush in just a little bit. You know, having sleeves there would have helped that. But I'm happy with how it's mounted. So there are some examples, I think, where this is a really nice bumper, but the installation kit isn't, you know, fully polished to the same level. One example is the mounting hardware. So they provided grade 8 bolts, but all the nuts were grade 5 nuts. So that seems a bit silly. Why not just give all grade 8 hardware? So anyway, I replaced the nuts with my own grade 8, just for the sake of it. Things like this bracket, you know, having to profile it a bit just to get it to fit properly. There's a few little things like that which just show how, even though the bumper is super nice, the installation kit leaves a little to be desired. So as I've stated already, I'm very happy with the quality of the bumper. I think it looks great. I think it's going to work really well. However, I'm not sure I would buy it again, and it's mostly related to the very poor customer service that I got from Shrockworks. Before I ordered it, I knew that Shrockworks custom makes these. After you order it, there is a significant lead time for them to do that, and I was prepared to wait. From the time I ordered it to the time I got it was just over 4 months, and I'm not in a rush, so that wasn't a big deal. That's not my main complaint. My complaint really is that throughout this entire time there was very poor communication from Shrockworks. When I submitted my order online, I got an automatically generated email, and then they processed my credit card, and that was basically all that I had to ensure that the bumper was actually getting built. After a few months I emailed them, but they did not email back. After a little while later I phoned them, and when I phoned them they were fine on the phone. They said the bumper is being made. It was actually at powder coat at that time, and it was only a couple more weeks until it was shipped out. Shipping was also a bit of a fiasco. The shipping cost from Texas to Canada was $200, which is a bit on the high side, and I ship car parts pretty often from the States to Canada. $200 is higher than average. Then, once it was shipped, I got a call from the shipper saying they needed my broker. Usually the shipper would arrange a broker. In this case, Shrockworks didn't, so that meant I had to arrange a broker on my side, and that was another $150 just to be able to receive it. That's quite unusual to require a custom broker for something like a car part, especially like this that isn't really high value. Now obviously Shrockworks is in the fabrication business and they're not in the shipping business, so I can't blame them entirely for this kind of awkward and delayed shipping to Canada. But at the same time, it cost me $350 to get this bumper shipped to me, and that's way more than it would have been if I say had an ARB bumper shipped from Low Range Off-Road or one of the other vendors. So overall, now that the bumper is on the Samurai, I'm very happy with it. I think it looks great. Would I buy it again, or would I recommend it to others? I'm not so sure. And here's the completely finished bumper with the marker lights. It's clear LED lenses, they light up yellow. I'm pretty happy with how everything looks. So coming up next, I have a worn M8000 winch that I'm going to put in there. So stay tuned and thanks for watching.